Welcome back to Anime Death Spiral, the only anime podcast that is in grieving right now. Because, unfortunately, this very day, prior to the recording of this podcast, we received some very sad, very unfortunate news. Haru Urara, the famed loser horse from Uma Musume, and I guess real horses, from those two categories, horse girls and real horses, has passed away this day from the tragic blockage of undigested grass in their stomach and caused them to internally explode.
It's weird that you say it because I do think, from what I've seen around the internet, we are the only anime podcast not mourning this. In fact, we might be the only one mocking this because, frankly, this horse was a massive fucking loser.
No, that's what makes it charming. Don't you get it?
There's nothing.
It's called Gap Moe, Remy. It's called Gap Moe. Do you even know what that means?
Do you know how much people who actually give a shit about horse racing hated this fucking horse? Do you have any fucking idea? It's only these little anime freaks who don't put money on the fucking line. There's never been a person who threw a trifecta down and lost everything because of the fucking long shot odds in this horse that would have anything but pure hatred in their hearts for this stupid fuck.
Listen, that is true.
This is a triumph.
There's no beating around this bush. This horse lost a lot of people, a lot of money, and probably, a non-zero amount of fingers and kneecaps were lost as well.
This horse has probably made more people homeless than, Margaret Thatcher.
The whole time that I've been reading about, people being sad about this horse dying, because, laying it out straight, the context here is that this horse was known for being a loser. They had the longest streak of losses in Japanese horse racing history. This, of course, made them very popular because in their iteration as a horse girl in Uma Musume, that kind of reads as plucky and an underdog and someone who's always trying to improve. But the real life horse, that's just a shitty horse. And horses are already shitty animals. You don't want to be a shitty horse amongst a generally shitty populace.
Yeah. And people, okay, so this is the thing that so Uma Musume fans, they are not horse racing fans. They don't know shit about horse racing. So they're out here mourning this horse, and they're looking up the most superficial shit about the horse and being oh, they were gonna breed him with other famous horses so his legacy could. No, they were not. It was a loser horse. They were joking. They were fucking with you.
Yeah, no, that horse wasn't getting laid.
Do you not get how much a fucking loser this horse was and how that is not good or inspiring to anybody? I'm losing my shit.
Well, here's what I was thinking is, the real horse is known for being a complete loser. Really bad horse. The character in Uma Musume was one of the most popular horse girls in the app. She had this fandom of people who were very much invested in her eventual comeback story. It's like the whole appeal of that show, Too Many Losing Heroines, right? They like that she's kind of a girl failure character. They find it relatable and cute. That cartoon horse girl made so much more money for the app than the real horse ever made its jockey or the people betting on it. That's gotta be insulting, right? I should have put my fucking money on the pink-haired one. God damn it!
I think a little bit of it is my feeling about horse racing in general bleeding through here, but it's also sports betting. The way I, grew up with baseball and basketball, and knowing if you have no skin in the game, you can do whatever. You can be, oh, I'm a fan of the Knicks and the Raptors, and this year I'm going for the Warriors. It's like, but those people are not respected. Do you understand that? By people who actually care about the game. Those people are hated. They're despised. And when, you're I don't know, if you're a fan of like Alex Sarr on the Wizards and he has one of the worst seasons that anyone has ever seen, and you're a Wizards fan, like a real one, you're not like, wow, his struggle is inspiring. You're like tearing your fucking hair out and screaming, like genuinely screaming at your own wife and children. Like, it's like fake fans shit. I don't know. I hate it. I hate it all around.
You hate it.
I hate it. I hate Uma Musume, and I hate people who don't take horse racing seriously. And I also hate horse racing. I hate everything.
Wait, you can't hate horse racing and hate the people who don't take it seriously.
I do.
You got to pick one or the other.
I hate them both. And in the eternal words of Norm Macdonald, I hope everyone involved in this story dies. One of them already has.
Oh, well, okay. What I'm surprised at is that we're not getting more of like a doomsday prepper kind of vibe out of this whole fandom for this horse. Because remember that in the lore of Uma Musume, when a real life racehorse dies, it does get reincarnated in the Uma Musume world as a horse girl. Like those are the rules that they set up. That's just how it works. So
I guess
this should be like a celebratory event for people, right? They should be happy when these horses die, because that means they get to go to heaven where they get to be a cute horse girl.
Okay, but if that's true, if that's something they've explicitly said is canon, why do they have horse girls that are still alive in the real world to begin with?
Listen, you're thinking too hard about this.
I think I'm the only person who has thought for even a second about the rules that they've established for themselves. Man.
Well, the real answer for that is that, obviously they ran out of famous dead horses to make horse girls based off of, and so they just kind of moved on to the current ones that were making a name for themselves. You can only have Seabiscuit in there so many times, and that number of times is once.
Why can't they have Seabiscuit and then Seabiscuit 2 and then Dark Seabiscuit? And then like Seabiscuit Prime,
Shin
Super
Seabiscuit.
Saiyan Biscuit. Yeah, like what is this? Is an anime game. Like, what is stopping them?
Yeah, what's stopping them from just making up characters?
I don't know.
We answered that earlier before we started recording. It's because this whole thing is funded and created as an ad for real life horse betting. And so they want to advertise their real life horses for you to go bet on. I think what they weren't anticipating is that the app would be like so quickly becoming a contender to actual like real life money betting on horse races. Cause the app is making a cool bill right now. It's up there, man. It's making numbers.
Yeah, it totally is. And I do find it funny that gacha games are like actually, just from a pure financial extraction aspect, more evil than even actual horse betting.
Well, okay,
but they maintain the moral high point because, like, despite marketing aggressively towards actual children, they don't themselves have bookies or like enforcers. So they're actually the good guys.
Okay, but in real horse racing, like, the horses are suffering. You said it yourself. The horses don't like being ridden. They don't like being raced.
Horses do not like being ridden. That's true. They do not like it.
The real life horse racing and betting comes with the explicit like inclusion of real life animal suffering. They cannot function without it. The only people suffering in Uma Musume are the programmers making it, and we all know programmers aren't real people.
Well, the people that suffer are also the players because, I mean, you look at how Gacha game is actually played by real human beings, and they hate themselves. Every single time they pull and they don't get what they want, which is 99% of the time, by design. Remember, these are designed by the same people who build slot machines, like real ones. They lose their fucking minds. That's when they yell at their wife and kids, is when they put like $40 down on a single pull and they don't get anything worthwhile. They lose their shit and they punch holes in their drywall.
Yeah, but the key factor here that you're missing is that they were miserable before they got into gacha games. They wouldn't have gotten into gacha games if they weren't already like self-loathing piles of like ooze. Like
okay, well, who isn't? I mean, come on. Let's not go there. Because glass houses and whatnot.
Hey, somebody's got to break that glass ceiling.
Glass wall, glass door. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, putting it all aside, I think at the end of the day, we can all agree that people just want to have fun. Just let people be into what they're into, right? If they're into horse racing girls so that they can be idols, who are you to judge? They say not to kink shame.
If everything in the world is just some sort of evil, why pick on this one particular evil thing?
Yeah. Listen, I certainly want to stop feeling so guilty about watching Uma Musume.
Okay, please stop making me mad with this shit. Please tell me there's something else going on.
Okay, all right. I will. But first, before I tell you about what I've been watching this week, I do have to issue a pre-apology. A couple episodes ago, we told you, our beautiful, handsome, tall listeners, that we were done with anime spring 2025 premieres in 2025 anime spring. Unfortunately, that was a lie. I went back and there's another one. I found another one.
Wait, you found another one?
I found another one.
Found another one?
Yeah.
You dug through the couch cushions and you found another
I went looking for change and peanuts in between the cushions there. I really got in there, man. I tore up the upholstery, and I think I found something that I actually kind of like and enjoy. And it's not like really, really egregiously perverted shit.
Are you sure it's a new one and not something old?
No.
That is like actually good and you just didn't know about?
Well, no, and it's funny you bring that up because I had that inclination. I said there can't be anything new that's good right now. We must have obviously plumbed that well to its depths. And so I went back and, I tried to find... I do what I always do when I'm in a bit of a drought, and I go back to the 80s and 90s and try and find something from early on in our anime history that could maybe jog some kind of inspiration in me. And I ended up finding a little OVA movie called I Am the Shiratori Reiko, which was, okay. It's kind of like a very early... I think it came out in like 87 or 88, direct-to-video, kind of like pre-shoujo framework. It's about a girl named Shiratori Reiko, and she's kind of like the archetypal princess in her classroom, the hot, popular, smart girl. And she made a name for herself in high school because she turned down all the boys. Everyone was asking her out, and she always turned them down, and she was really rude about it. And then cut to later on, she's in college, and wouldn't you guess it, one of the boys that she turned down is like hot and tall and muscular now, and he thinks that she doesn't like him, but she does. And the whole thing is about 40 minutes. It's split into 4 parts corresponding with the seasons of the school year. The word I would use for it overall is banal. Like it was just a collection of like 80s rom-com tropes, basically. But it did function as a fun little time capsule, like, in the sense that, and I think I've talked about this aspect of like older anime rom-com stuff before, is that it was like a relic of that period when like dating was a normal thing for young people to do, and it didn't like break their brain to have to like interact with a member of the opposite sex. Like casual dating was just a thing that people were like not only cool with, but like into. Like it was expected. Like that's what you did.
Like a part of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's like all these scenes of them going out to like cool 80s nightclubs and like, casually talking about dating and being in relationships and talking to women without like giant hoses of blood spraying out of their nose. Weird pervert shit like that.
Yeah.
And so, I had some fun watching that, but overall, there's not a whole lot of meat on that bone. And so then I decided, like, okay, I'm going to take one more look. I'm going to take one more look between these cushions. And boy, did I find something that scratched an itch, at least. This is a anime that started premiering in July, went unnoticed by both of us, called Detectives These Days Are Crazy. Do you remember did that make it onto any of your lists when you were looking at stuff?
Yes, I was thinking about adding this to the tail end, but like I said, I did lose all credibility with my watch partners, and I had to abort really hard.
They staged a mutiny on that one.
Yeah.
I think I like this. This is it's a gag anime, basically, an episodic gag anime about a detective who used to be a boy detective, like a super hot, like Bishoujo boy, like 15-year-old boy detective.
Yeah, a Kendaichi.
Yeah, a Kendaichi. And now he's 35 and he smokes and has like a smoker's lung and back pain, and the only jobs that he can get are like pest extermination and like, tracking down cheating husbands and finding lost pets, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar to a movie that I think I've talked to you before about called, I think it was just called Boy Detective, which is basically the same premise about a guy who's trying to be like a real private eye, but everyone only knows him from when he was a boy detective. And so he only gets. It's basically that exact same premise.
Like Adventure Team.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. It's that same premise, but in that movie, they kind of switch it up by having him accidentally get involved with like a real murder mystery and discover that he's way over his head. In this one, they switch it up, and Detectives These Days Are Crazy is a gag comic about him taking on all of these like very desperate kind of like last-ditch effort jobs as an attempt to both keep paying his rent and to keep like being relative to people. Because like whenever he encounters people, they always like refer to him in this reverent tone, like, "Oh, you were the amazing young detective that solved all these like amazing mysteries when you were young.
Yeah,
man, you look like shit now." And he's like, "Yeah, I feel like shit."
I did mention a while back, like, there is a Kendaichi run that is this story.
Yeah.
The twist being, it's a little bit different because it's Kendaichi as an adult who was too busy solving all these horrible, gruesome mysteries and worrying about his friends and family getting murdered all the time to actually study and graduate college. So he has no degree and he's working these dead-end jobs. And his only wish is to not get involved in horrible murders because he now has PTSD from watching people die in front of him for his entire, teenage and almost his adult life.
Well,
except everywhere he goes, this shit starts happening to him again when one of the younger people that he works with realizes that he's that detective, and she starts pushing him to detect again. And he's like, please, God, please don't let this happen again. And then murders start happening around him. It's really funny. It's really good. But this sounds like the opposite, right? Because he's doing low stakes stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the gag is like, he's kind of like an over the hill, detective guy at the ripe old age of 35. I'm not going to take that one personally. And like he like I said, he's having trouble paying his rent. He's getting all these low stakes jobs, and then out of nowhere, a high school girl shows up and wants to be his new assistant because she wants to be a detective. And the gag is that she is kind of a Goku. She's not very smart, but she's incredibly athletic. And they kind of have this back and forth dynamic that hits off that I think is very charming. But I have to stress that it's very, very silly. Like, if I had to compare it in tone to something, maybe not this extreme, but like, remember Nokotan, the deer anime from a couple seasons ago?
Of course I remember Nokotan.
Yeah.
Yes, the one that ruined itself by going super hard on the incest angle.
Yeah, they don't do that. So this one's already got that for itself. They don't do that. But
cool.
It's kind of the same level of like gag, pop culture reference a minute kind of humor. And like they have this recurring like bit that they do where kind of like the Ren and Stimpy or the SpongeBob thing, like every once in a while it'll do a close-up shot that's like hyper realistic instead of the regular anime style that they use for the rest of the show to kind of emphasize. I have to look it up. There may be some stuff going over my head. I'm pretty sure what they're doing is every time they do that and they show like a really like super realistic face on these characters, they're referencing any number of like hard-boiled Japanese detective tropes, kind of like the Ken Takakura thing in Dan Da Dan. So there's a lot of that going on. It's very silly. The assistant girl, she has a thing where she comically stores any number of useful items on her person at any given time.
She's a point and click adventure character.
She's a point. Yeah. There's a gag where she comically pulls out a chainsaw from inside of her shirt, like at a convenient time. I mentioned she's not very bright. Like he gets a job to go remove a hornet's nest from somebody, and she mistakes this request. The end result is that the hornet's nest that she removes is like a Yakuza den. She like goes in and has this super huge, like really well animated fight with all the Yakuza, and they're all asking each other like the entire time, like, who the heck is this chick? We've never heard of her. She must be a new button man from the rival gang.
Sure.
I don't know. It's very lighthearted. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's got a fun cast of characters. There's they just introduce the like the new sexy young detective guy. And his thing is that he acts exactly like the main dude did when he was in the spotlight, but with the context of everyone else like pointing out how annoying and full of himself he is. I think that's very funny. And he also has like a high school anime girl assistant who hates him and is constantly like trying to sabotage him because she thinks he's so annoying.
Sure.
I don't know. It's not anywhere near the top of the list for this season, which we've said before is completely stacked. Real good season so far. But I was surprised that this one flew under my radar for so long. And I'm honestly punching myself for giving up on the search so easily, especially knowing the quality that is in this season so far. So I guess let's take this as a lesson that the good stuff might still be out there.
Sure. Well, and then you didn't watch a bunch of stuff anyway.
Well, no, I didn't watch all the trash.
Yeah, but you probably would have liked some of that trash. You say that like you wouldn't.
Well, okay. I'm not making any illusion here that I'm not a little piggy and I like to eat my trash. Yum, yum, yum. Give it to me. I like the slop. But I was so overloaded on high quality slop this season already that I was getting full. I was gorging myself. I mean, we've got Sonobisky Doll season 2. We've got Turkey, the bowling isekai. We've got the fragrant flower blooms with dignity. That's not slop. That's just very boring. And of course, how could I forget? There's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless, which is quite honestly becoming more and more like my favorite anime this season.
Oh man. Oh god.
I know.
But you didn't watch Clevitas.
I did not watch Clevitas. That was all you. Yeah, if I ever find a need for breastfeeding zombies, I'll go to that one.
You should consider it. Well, the zombie doesn't breastfeed. That's like the whole thing. A zombie can't breastfeed. What a silly thing to assert. It's ridiculous.
I can't believe you would think
Christ.
that. God.
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of holes in your watch season because you still have not watched Legend of Hay. And I told you to get that done before the sequel came out. And the sequel is now out.
Ooh, yeah.
And you haven't watched
Listen, I'm gonna need an extension on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure this movie is even gonna be in theaters by next weekend. Chinese animated features don't get a lot of play over here. I think the theater I went to, which was quite a distance away, only had it because there's a pretty sizable Asian population in the city. So you might want to check in on that because this shit is worth seeing. Seriously, it is worth seeing.
Now, the last time that we talked about Legend of Hay, you mentioned in the sequel that there was some crazy statistic about the animation, like they're using twice the number of frames that they did in the original. Is it that much longer? Like, is it that much more animated? How are the frames, Remy? Tell me about the frames.
The frames are good. The frames are nice. I'm trying to... it is longer than the first one. Let me see how long the first movie is. Type 140.
Type 140. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. And Legend of Hay 2 is pushing... It's like 2 hours.
Okay.
My only criticism when I walked out was I would trim 20 minutes off this thing.
Yeah? You get it down to a tight 140?
I would get it back down to a tight 140, maybe even 130. You know, I am biased as I do think the perfect movie needs to be about an hour and a half. I'll give it an hour 40.
No movie needs to be longer than 90 minutes. Like, that's a lot of minutes. Say what you need to say and get out.
I do think, you know, if you are going over an hour and a half, it's like you fucked up. Like, why do you need the extra hours? Is it because you failed to like encapsulate what your story is? You need the extra time. You're going into extra innings, like, because you couldn't hit it the first time. I don't know. But it seems even crazier in an animated movie because literally every second of screen time is massive amounts of money. So tacking on another 20 minutes onto this release feels like a crazy financial decision on their part. But that being said, it's not like that 20 minutes ruined the movie. Far from it. It's more like the 20 minutes is setting a tone, which I don't necessarily hate, because this one's a lot more ponderous than the first movie. It feels more like if the first movie is sort of like a Hong Kong martial arts classic, where it's just like absolutely fucking crazy, everything going super hard all the time. This one feels more like a post Hong Kong boom wuxia film where there is a lot of philosophizing and time to establish a tone and a setting and like a general vibe, right?
Sure.
That is more mature than the first movie. That's not to say anything about it at the first movie, right? I really, really like the first movie. And it is absolutely like a buckle in fucking ride. But this movie is about something. It has loftier goals, right?
Well, it's good that
and I don't hate that.
Movies should generally be about something.
Yeah, it's more ambitious. Well, a movie can be about whatever, you know. A movie can be about trauma, as is every horror movie. The first movie is about environmentalism, right? But that's kind of an easy slam dunk because all you have to do is say, like, wow, killing the entire world is bad. And it is bad. It's like, yes, I agree with you. That is bad.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm part of the entire world. I wouldn't enjoy that.
Yeah. You make a movie that's like, bad things are bad, and I can't fault you for that because that is true. It's really hard to argue that bad things are good, though even some people do try to do that. Sometimes even movies try to do that.
I mean, I sometimes try and argue that anime is good.
I know, we fight an uphill battle here.
Yep.
We're fighting the good fight, which is the bad fight. Well, this movie is not like good thing is good, bad thing is bad. This movie it is asking a question instead of making a statement. And I think more mature movies generally do that. And I appreciate that.
So they're taking the Ghost in the Shell 2 route with this. They're trying to be a little bit more introspective, a little bit more, how would you say, respecting of the audience's intellect and time, as opposed to just a fun action ride.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely, I mean, there are points where the characters literally do ask very pointed questions to each other, and you're supposed to be like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to think about that. And, it's like, okay, I will. You know what? Hey, movie, I like you, so I will think about that. You know what? I'll do you a solid. But this movie is like very, very specifically trying to establish a tone of like, so there's like fucked up shit that happens sometimes. And the way it establishes that tone immediately is within the first minute, a bunch of Spec Ops soldiers use like fucking AI assisted sniper rifles to take out some of the characters. Just like straight off the bat, we're doing like fucking Predator shit. It's wild.
Wait, I thought that this story was about like kung fu ghosts or something, like spirits.
It is.
You can't shoot a spirit with a sniper rifle.
You can. They do it. They fucking do it, dude.
What do they have? Like you would need some kind of special ghost gun.
No, you don't. In fact, the only thing you need is a special ghost bullet. Think about that.
Well, fair enough. But
yep.
So they had special ghost bullets is what you're saying.
Of course they do. Wait, how else do you think they would headshot spirits?
Well,
come on.
I was wondering. So the Chinese government has invested a heavy R&D dollars into creating ghost bullets in this world.
You're very close, but you've missed the mark a little bit. You see, it is in fact the U.S. government that has done this. Yes, that's right.
They're always making new kinds of bullets.
Yep, it was in fact the U.S. government, and that's not a spoiler because they do speak English immediately. So you're kind of like, okay, but immediately pointing to like the military-industrial complex as the bad guy immediately establishes a tone of like, hey, so listen, this one is not the first one. And as it unfolds, it becomes a like almost like Cold War thriller. There is a like aspect of that in this movie where there's a bunch of investigative work happening to establish like political culpability in this attack on which is essentially a sovereign nation because the spirit world, the spirit guilds hold themselves apart and maintain their own sovereignty in the world and participate as a fifth superpower on Earth.
Yes, we all know that the fifth pillar of government is the Kung Fu ghost world.
Well, the fifth superpower in world government is the spiritual martial arts world and the guilds, of course, that regulate them.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And that's the kind of world they establish.
And they
here.
live at the North Pole, where Santa lives.
No. They live whenever the fuck they want. They have teleporters and shit. They can do anything and go anywhere. It's a pretty nice setup, honestly.
Oh, so they're just like rich people. Like that's just their thing. Is they don't have like, national or political ties to any one place because they just go anywhere and get away from whatever consequences that they may impart upon themselves. I don't know.
There are consequences.
I don't know. You're losing me here. These ghosts sound stuck up.
It's the consequences are so much worse than human consequences because, like, they'll put you in the nega zone for 1,000 years. Like, not even a problem. Like, they will not think twice about it.
They'll banish you to the land of wind and ghosts.
No, the land of wind and ghosts is fucking heaven. That shit rules. I'm talking about a black void for the rest of eternity. That shit is fucked up. That is like the fun side of it. The carrot on the other side of the stick, right? Is that this movie is also filled with like incredibly fun action scenes and a bunch of like insanely good choreographed martial arts. Which, like I said about the first one, is like insanely refreshing to see in an anime movie. Like, not just no hate, but it's not Dragon Ball. They're not moving at supersonic speeds or shooting lasers at each other. They're like actually doing real martial arts moves.
I mean,
that's really
they were doing
cool.
real martial arts, at the beginning of Dragon Ball, and then Akira Toriyama very clearly said, like, yeah, I invented the laser things because it was way easier to draw than having to choreograph all the fighting scenes every time.
Sure, yeah.
They just have them shoot lasers at each other.
But in this movie, they took the hard route and they said, we're going to make like a true spectacle, like the first movie, and do like the craziest shit you've ever seen on screen in an animated movie. And they did. And I think this movie is a fucking triumph. It's like really, really fucking great. Watching it in action is unlike any other movie in its class. I really hate to like put it up against like a Ghibli movie or whatever, right? Because there is like a legacy status and an artistry to those movies that set it apart from like everything else. It's like a weight class, right?
Uh-huh.
I would say putting Legend of Hay in its own weight class against movies of a similar type, it is like easily the world champ. And like missing this movie means like missing like one of the best animated movies that have come out in a long time. So go see this shit.
I do have one final question for you about Legend of Hay before we wrap this up. For the eventual American re-release and dubbing, how do we get Keanu in it?
Well, if I have any say in it whatsoever, Keanu will not even know that this is happening.
Listen, that's not negotiable. Keanu's already attached to the project. We just got to find a part for him. Now, I know that you're not an agent, unlike me. I'm in the biz. So, I don't expect you to have the best ideas right off the bat. But I can tell you one thing. I know Hollywood. I know what the American people want. I know what Keanu wants. We're going to put him in it.
Let me tell you something about the industry and about Keanu in particular, because as much as you front, you don't seem to understand something. Keanu was attached to the live-action Akira movie. Keanu was attached to the Devil in the White City movie. Keanu has been attached to basically every vaporware project that has existed in Hollywood since they invented the blacklist. Keanu is the kiss of fucking death for most like speculative projects. So like, to defeat Keanu, all I have to do is lean back and do nothing. Sorry. Just saying.
You mark my words. I'm going to get Keanu in this movie one way or the other.
Sure, but what will you lose in the process? Just your dignity as a human being.
Well, if it's just my dignity, that's fine. I didn't have any to begin with.
A mad dog.
Okay. All right. I think that's enough. Go check out Legend of Hay 2. I still need to check out Legend of Hay 1, but it's on my list. I will do it.
Fucking do it, man.
I'll do it.
I know you're not watching anything worthwhile. Just watch a good movie.
You know, I'll slot it in right after I finish my second rewatch of all of the Uma Musume series. All 6 of them.
Uh-huh, sure.
And the movies.
Okay.
And, you know, once I get that platinum pull, you know, then I'll have time. But until next time, dear listeners, thank you for staying with us. Go check out the stuff. We're going to be working on some new content to put out there. Still got that one cooking. Go check out the Blue Sky, subscribe on YouTube, download, comment, do all that stuff.
Sure.
Bye.
You can hate me as much as you want because I will always be correct and I will always win.